I got a little time on the road here, so if anybody's interested, I wanted to let them know what happened with my mom recently and why I hope I don't sound like I'm complaining or whining. I should count my blessings. My mom lost her husband 4.5 years ago, and what a great guy, pillar of the church, good investor, hard worker, amazing guy, super smart. She lost him, never really cried, never grieved fully. COVID hit, weird stuff was going on. And for 4 years, I mean, I watched her age exponentially. She used to be the life of the party. She'd jump around and make sure everybody had their thing and everybody was happy. And if somebody wasn't talking, she'd run over and make sure they weren't uncomfortable. She's that lady. And then she turned to absolute darkness. It always made me think of the story of Job. Job loved God with all his heart. My mom loved God with all his heart. Job had unbreakable faith. My mom had an unbreakable faith. But the spirit, Satan was allowed to go after the spirit. And I think he went after my mom, and he got a hold of her because he had permission from God to test her with fire, and God knew that she would not fail. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because she got so bad. She was going back and forth to Grafton Hospital, emergency room, critical care unit. Her blood pressure was spiking, 209 over 180, one time 219 over 176, I believe it was, and she was laying down. So in the middle of the night, I'm in Fond du Lac, so I'm an hour away. So I'm flying, and my sister had her foot operated on, so she had this huge cast. She can't drive. So either the ambulance would come and take her, or I'd come and pick her up, and it got really bad. And then she got COVID pneumonia, and I found out she's got COVID pneumonia. What the heck? I found out she got COVID pneumonia, and I'd go to the hospital. I want to stay with her. But I don't want to get COVID. I got to work, right? So I get there, and I got to go out and get tests and whatnot. I found out I didn't have it, but I found out they had her on remdesivir. And if you've researched anything or heard anything during the whole COVID pandemic, you would know that remdesivir was like the stage before they put you on a ventilator, and then 1% of the people on the ventilator lived. And my mom was so weak. When I lifted her up to get to her walker, just to get to the restroom, I mean, it was so bad. There was no help. And my mom, she had, if you saw the look in her eyes, there was no joy in her eyes. It was gone. She wasn't there. But anyway, long story short, a month and a half ago, she had that COVID pneumonia. They were trying to get her to sign a DNR. And 2 weeks ago, she sat up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I'm probably getting some of these a little wrong, but for the most part, she sat up at like 4:30 in the morning and just started bawling. She started bawling her eyes out. She started, things were coming up like my dad. Now, that's not the man who just passed away. My dad was a whole different story. And he treated people badly. And he did things to my mom that I never knew were happening. And she was reliving those things. And she was bawling her eyes out. And basically, crying at the feet of Jesus. And feeling everything. And then she felt the 4.5 years of the loss of her man. The guy was a short little guy with a good big tummy and curly gray hair, but he owned a company. He built it up from the ground, and he 88 years old or 84 years old. He's jackhammering his whole garage floor. I said, "Can I help?" I helped for like a minute, and I gave it back. I couldn't even fake it. It was this guy was something. But my mom finally, my mom finally grieved for that. She finally let that go. And I'm telling you, she basically sat up and said, "I'm healed." And my sister's been taking care of her for 4.5 years, watching her deteriorate, watching the hope and effort just go out of her. Basically, I mean, it was bad. But when she said, "I'm healed," and Tia was right there, Tia felt it. Tia believed it immediately. And Tia's a very God-fearing, loving woman. I mean, these are amazing women. I don't know what happened. Anyway, she felt it. And my mom got up. I mean, she still didn't have any leg muscle. She had atrophy throughout her body, but she had God in her, and she always had God in her. But now He opened up whatever it was that kept her captive, and she was lifted up, and now she's prancing around. Now she's strong. She's doing her rehab. She's having a party. I mean, she was a recluse, you guys. She shut everybody out of her life. Didn't go to church anymore. That's not my mom. Like that, she wasn't my mom. She was doing the best she could just to stay alive. And God took it away. God took it away in such a fashion that there's no other explanation. I don't care who you are or what your comments are, and you can, oh, this is quite common. No, it's not, okay? Period. So I got to experience that. So if I'm whining about having to fix my car or make some adjustments to a tough economy or put all my chips in one basket or eggs in one basket and take a chance because I got nothing to lose. That's what I'm going to do because God is present and just did something for me in my life. And I need to be grateful for that, period. And if God wants me to worship Him and help others and make diddly squad, and, that's fine too. Because I have a house that's paid for. 1860, but it's a house. It is paid for. I got a van. I got a car. It'll be working better when I pay for it. And then I'm going to get jobs. And then something might happen with this idea. And I might build a business. And I might help other people who are way worse off than me. And they can have a great life. We can do amazing things because people do want to get out and work hard and be proud of what they do and where they live and who they are. And I want to be part of that. So that's my thing. I figured I had a little time to kill. I wanted you to know about my mom, and I wanted to explain why I shouldn't be whining. So thanks for listening.